Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. 2,300%. Seriously, that is not a typo. In the early 1990s, that was the annual growth rate of a brand new, mostly ignored phenomenon called the internet. Now, most people saw that statistic in a report somewhere, shrugged, and simply turned the page. But one man saw this exact number and realized it wasn't just data. It was the foundational blueprint for what would literally become a global empire.
Today, we are mapping out that exact blueprint, from garage to galaxy. Think of this as the ultimate chronological hero's journey of a man who transformed from a completely unknown boy into a titan who literally owns a piece of the future. We're going to visually break down exactly how he re-engineered reality and built an entirely new way of living for all of us. Let's get into it. Section 1. The Spark of Ingenuity. Let's move to this timeline and see how this builds, because to really understand the empire, we have to first look at the architect's foundation. Starting back in 1964 as Jeffrey Jorgensen, his relentless drive to solve impossible problems wasn't something he picked up in a corporate boardroom. It was hardwired from day one. His biological father, Ted, was absent, leaving before Jeff could even speak. But soon after, a hardworking Cuban immigrant named Mike Bezos stepped in, married his mother, adopted the boy, and taught him incredible grit. I mean, look at his toddler years here. He actually took a screwdriver to dismantle his own crib because apparently standard cribs just didn't meet his engineering standards. Then, jumping forward, he spent his teenage summers out on a lonely Texas ranch with his grandfather, Lawrence Preston Gies, who was a retired nuclear physicist. Out there, if a tractor broke, you didn't call a repairman. No way. You figured it out and you fixed it yourself. This whole incredible timeline culminates in his high school valedictorian speech. And spoiler alert, it wasn't about fond summer memories. It was about saving the Earth by building literal space colonies. Those formative early years crystallized into a core mindset. No problem cannot be solved with determination and innovation. Now, you have to understand, this wasn't just some catchy phrase for him. This mentality drove him to literally build homemade alarm systems for his bedroom just to keep his siblings out. He was building structural solutions long before he ever built a corporation. And that intense problem-solving focus, that's exactly what he took with him to Princeton, where he spent his nights relentlessly studying computer science and electrical engineering, basically preparing for a world that didn't even exist yet. Section 2. The Call to Adventure. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate turning point. The year is 1994, and Jeff Bezos is about to face a monumental career choice that would alter the course of human commerce forever. On the left side, you have the sleek, towering glass skyscrapers of Wall Street, where he's pulling in a massive salary as a vice president at D.E. Shaw. We're talking an incredibly comfortable, elite life. On the right side, a completely unproven alternative. A cold, cramped Seattle garage with rain beating against the window where he'd be the one personally driving packages to the post office. To almost anyone else looking at this, it seems like an absolutely insane downgrade. But Bezos didn't look at it like everyone else. He made his decision using a specific mental framework, the regret lens. When he pitched the wildly ambitious idea of selling every book ever printed on the internet, his boss basically told him, hey, that's a good idea for someone who doesn't already have a great job. But Bezos refused to be 80 years old, looking back on his life, wondering what if. The fear of future regret far outweighed the comfort of his Wall Street status. So he walked away. He and his wife, Mackenzie, packed their bags, and while she drove them across the country to Seattle, Jeff literally sat right there in the passenger seat, typing out the business plan for a company he called Amazon. $300,000. Just take a second to feel the emotional weight of that number. Because this wasn't flashy venture capital. Actually, scratch that. It wasn't institutional money at all. This was his parents' entire life savings. They didn't even really understand what the internet was, but they handed this money over anyway. They weren't placing a bet on e-commerce. They were making a completely blind, unwavering bet on their son. That was the seed money that fired up the garage operation. Moving to Section 3. Surviving the dot-com crash. But no legendary journey is ever complete without a massive crisis. By 1995, the website officially goes live, and it's a massive, immediate hit. We're talking weeks before they are selling in all 50 states and 45 different countries. It's spread like wildfire. By 1997, Amazon goes public, though amazingly, they had absolutely zero profit to show for it. But then we hit the year 2000. The dot-com bubble violently bursts. Picture the absolute wreckage of hundreds of internet companies just vanishing, plunging graphs, discarded monitors everywhere. Investors were completely panicking, and almost everyone predicted that Amazon was going to be the very next spectacular failure. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast. While the market in 2000 was swallowed by pure hysteria and vanishing companies, Bezos stood in the center of the storm with an icy calm. Instead of freaking out over the plunging stock price, he doubled down on the real world. He started building massive physical warehouses. He opened his digital platform to let other sellers use it. He was fundamentally transforming Amazon from a simple bookstore into a massive, unshakable marketplace. Section 4. The Day One Philosophy. So, how exactly did he maintain that calm while everyone else was losing their minds? Well, it all came down to a relentless long-term focus. Instead of staring at stock charts all day, look closely at the customers. Build out the absolute best physical infrastructure and delivery systems, and trust that profit will eventually follow. It's a mindset that completely defied Wall Street. Analysts wanted short-term quarterly profits. Bezos completely ignored them, choosing to focus entirely on a horizon that nobody else could see yet. That mentality is perfectly encapsulated by his core belief. The moment a company thinks it has made it, it begins to die. He firmly, absolutely believed this. This is exactly why he insisted that every single day at Amazon be treated as day one. It wasn't just a slogan, it was his ultimate defense mechanism against corporate stagnation. And as we map this out visually, you can see how this day one mentality triggered a total tidal wave of innovation. First, the golden shopping cart of one-click shopping, elegantly ending those tedious long checkout forms. Then, the massive launch of Prime in 2005. Experts literally predicted Prime would bankrupt the company because of the shipping costs, but millions of people happily paid up front. Then the Kindle comes along and fundamentally changes how humanity reads. And finally, AWS, Amazon Web Services, a massive cloud of server farms that now quietly powers a huge portion of the entire internet. This relentless drive completely changed how we shop, how we read, and how we exist online. Naturally, that relentless drive yielded massive results. By 2017, Jeff Bezos officially became the richest man on Earth. But, his personal life was shifting at the same time. After 25 years of marriage, alongside his meteoric rise, he and Mackenzie went through a highly publicized, expensive, but ultimately amicable divorce in 2019. He entered a new chapter with Lauren Sanchez. Yet, despite these major personal and professional transitions, his eyes remained totally fixed on a goal that went way, way beyond earthly world. Which brings us to Section 5, Reaching for the Stars. So the crucial point is how this all loops right back to that high school valedictorian dreaming of space colonies in a crowded auditorium. On the left side here, we see the earthly empire, systematically delivering packages globally and dominating human commerce. But on the right side, soaring into the cosmos, we have Blue Origin building the keys to the heavens. Remember, way back in the year 2000, while everyone else was hyper-focused on surviving the e-commerce crash, Bezos had quietly founded this aerospace company. He founds Blue Origin in 2000. Fast forward to 2021, and we get the shockwave. He steps down as the CEO of Amazon. But he wasn't retiring, not even close. He was transitioning to his biggest mission yet. That very same year, he climbed into the New Shepard rocket, felt the deafening roar of the engines, and traveled to the very edge of space, finally fulfilling that childhood dream. But even as he looks to the stars, he hasn't forgotten the ground we stand on. $10 billion. That is his personal, colossal financial commitment to the Bezos Earth Fund to fight climate change. To put that into perspective, it's a staggering amount of money, and it represents a profound recognition that even as humanity looks to expand beyond our atmosphere, we absolutely must fiercely protect our home planet first. Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway of this explainer. If success is really about having the courage to step into the unknown and focusing on the horizon until it belongs to you, what horizon are you focusing on? Jeff Bezos didn't just build a company. He proved that long-term thinking, sheer grit, and a total obsession with solving problems can literally change reality. So, I challenge you. Take that day one mentality. Use the visual blueprints we've mapped out today and apply them to whatever you are building in your own life. Keep your eyes fixed on that horizon.